All right. So, guys, I would like to just project you before we get to the practical session. I want you to get understand about, how, uh, the type of malwares will be there. Okay. So, we'll have some basic discussions on this and we'll discuss more detail, later while doing the investigations of any type of malware that happens, like how we take an actions to those malware. Okay. So, let's say that if I if I'll say you that the type of malware, as you know, like the malware is nothing but it's an malicious software which is designed by an attacker in order to attack on the system or take action of those systems. It might be get exploit, different vulnerabilities, or it might be the vandalism where they want to get destroy the entire data set. Might be the several reasons are there. The malware can be get created. Now, when I talk about like how the malware can get inject on a target system, it can be using the flash drives, or it can be the downloadable link, or it can be phishing emails, or there are the several different ways out there the malware can get inject on a particular machine. So what is malware? We'll discuss that. But before that, I would like to know you that what does it mean by the zero-day vulnerability or the zero-day attack? So when I say the zero-day vulnerabilities are nothing but the a security vulnerability or the weakness that is there in the product, any of the service product, applications, database, or it can be anything which do not know to the vendor. Like vendor have no information about. So something which we don't know anything about the vulnerabilities, but there is certain vulnerabilities are there in the IT assets that can be considered as a zero-day vulnerability. And when I say the zero-day attack or exploit, a security vulnerabilities or the weakness where there is in the particular product which don't know to the vendor but that allow the attacker to exploit it. It means like the attackers have discovered that and taken an action through which the attack is happening. So these type of vulnerabilities will consider that as zero-day attack or the zero-day exploit. This is how the zero day is there. Zero day, something is new, something is novel where we can see it. Okay. Now, if I'll say the malware, let's say that that can be in the different forms. If I'll say virus, what exactly it means by the virus? So as we know that we have heard many times that like my system is affected with the virus, or any flash drive is connected with to the laptop might may connect might may transfer the virus to those systems, and so and so, right? But what exactly the virus, like how does it work? So virus is a set of malicious code that attach itself to a host application, and the host applications must be executed to run. And when we see that these malicious code, which is going to be execute when the host application is execute. So it means like the host applications can be anything. It can be the image, it can be the PDF, it can be the Word document, it can be any other applications can also be there where the user may get installed and that the virus can get installed in the particular computer. So the virus is the malicious code which attach with the applications, and that applications must be get executed. So once the application is executed, the virus try to replicate by finding some other host applications and infect these malicious codes. So there are the several other malicious code also can be get exploited, and that is also can be get installed in other applications which is running on the system. So at this point, where we can see that virus activates and delivers a payload. Typically, the payload is a virus which is damaging files, or deleting access. Anything can be there. So random reboot can be happens, or they tell the computer to join a bad network like the botnet, that the malicious network we can see that, or enable the backdoors where the attackers may use those backdoors to get an access to system, or it can access the remote system remotely, right? That is how the possibilities are. So the virus is the malicious code which is attached to the applications, and through which that application the attackers get an access to the systems or delete the files. It might be there are the several other reasons are there through which the attack may happen, or it might get executed. Okay, so that is we call as virus. Also, we have something called as a worm. Now, it's like as we discussed that the viruses need to be get connect with an host applications in order to get execute. But when we talk about the worm is a self-replicating malware that travel throughout the network without assistance of any host applications or user interaction. It's like it not get attached with the host applications or any other files, or there is no need of the user interaction without any interactions with the user. Worm reside in the memory. Also, you able to use a different transport protocol to travel over the network. So one of the significant problems that caused by the worm is that it consumes the network resources. It consumes the computer resources, right? Whatever, like, if you can see that, for example, if I'll show you something about this. So here, if we can have a look on this, we can see whatever, like, the performance, like it can be the CPU, memory, like, disk, internet, and so on. So for every application, there will be a certain, like, the process are the certain memory I've been using here. So what does the memory, like, what does the CPU utilizations, all those things where we can be able to see. So once the worm is hundreds and thousands of times it get replicated in the system, so each of those worm are going to consume certain resources here. So worm replicate themselves hundreds of times and spread over all the systems in the network, and each infected system try to locate another system to infect it on the network. So network performance can get slowed down, or it can be anything, right? Where the resources on the target computer can be get consumed. So this is how the worm will be there. So overall, the worm is type of malware which can consume the resources on the target computer and can get spread and can affect the other system over the network. This is how it has happened. Then we have something called as, if we can see that, we have something called as a logic bomb. The logic bomb is a string of code that embedded to the applications or script will that execute in response to an event. Means like it happens on a certain event here. So logic bomb is type of malware. It's similar like a time bomb. We have a certain time that is set, and based on that time, that like the bomb will get blast. Like this is how it happens. So when I say the logic bomb is a string of code that embedded to an application or the script that will execute in response to an event. So the event may have a specific date or time, like what is the fixed time can be there, what would be the date can be there. So when the user launches a specific program, the event programmer decided like at what time it should be there. So logic bomb execute in response to an event, such when specific application is executed or a specific times arrive. If I'll give you one simple example in order to understand this, let's say that we have one IT admin. Okay. Now we have one IT admin, like when we can say that when let's say that the IT admin who's are taking care of the entire systems, operations, and everything. But due to some reason, the company is going to fire him, right? Because maybe he's a very senior person, like he's been having the high salary budget. So company said, like, it's better to have it, like, where we do the cost cutting. So we'll fire this person and can, like, get some other junior team which can handle with the low budget. This might be a possibility, and nowadays it's happening based on the financial consultant and so on in the companies, right? Correct or not? Yes or no? Fayaz, Arod, Arthur, Aslam, am I am I audible to you guys? So this happens, So let's say that this ID admin got a notice that is going to be get fired, but like this person is having control of, let's say that some 500 is just a simple example, okay? 500 workstations where it's controlling. And what he done, like, he got an notice, let's take an example, 30th May will be a last working day. So if he got these notice, like last working day will be a May 2026, like, where it is going to be leave this organization. So these person may do, or they may plan the logical bomb. Now, what does this logical bomb is going to do? It like it's going to script in a such a way it will get executed in a certain event or date or time, right? So he said like okay, I'm leaving the organizations on 13th May, so it should happen at the June 10th. that might be a possibility is that the June 10, 26, the attack may get executed. So he have given these dates, like on these dates it's going to be get triggered a malware and is going to make the system trouble here. Maybe deleting the files, maybe making the system slow down, or maybe accessing to some other applications and doing the malfunctions. Might be any type of it all depends upon these these malicious code has written. So based on these malicious code, how is written, the action will take place in that format. That's how it's going to be happen. So if this is executed, right, there might be a chance the company may call this person back and say that, we are facing a problem because all 500 workstations are giving us trouble and we can't be able to do these operations, or we can't be able to complete the project, or this and that. There might be a certain reason, and this person may demand that, right, I need an hike because already they're on the job. Now I got it, another offer because of this. I have heard about that. So they are giving me these and these and so on, so he can do the counter offer, and based on that, he may get joined, or just an example here. So, or it might the company face the same problems, or they may have some other technician to resolve the issue. You got my point is how the logic bomb will work. Mostly this is that the internal attack happens with the logic bomb. Give me the quick okay if it is all fine. Any doubts? Okay. All right. So this is how the possibilities can be there of a logic bomb. When we see that, this is how it can be. Now we have something called as a backdoor. Now, what is the backdoor? Is a piece of code that is written by an attackers or might be a application developers. If these backdoor is there in the system, they can get an access to those systems, or they can get an access to the applications. Might be there are the several way the users may get enter into it. It's like an alternate way. We have an alternate house, like we have main door as well as the back door, right? That's how it works. So we can see that it provides another way to get an access to a system, similar like how the backdoor can be there in the it can be get an access to the other entry very weakly. So malware such as a Trojan often install the backdoor on the system to bypass the normal authentication method. And sometimes we can see the application developer often create a backdoor into the application. That is not a good practice, but maybe the application developer might have created the backdoor within the systems to get an access, like certain applications, and how the attackers, if anyhow, if the attackers discover this, they may get an access to those applications and can use this. Okay, this is our backdoor. Do you want me to show you, one of the backdoor I have it? Can you want me to show you how we can get an access with the backdoor? Okay, so let's see that, how these attacks may happen through using the backdoor. Let me just show you something here, how this attack will take place. One moment. Now, guys, here, let's see that what I'm going to do it. If we'll see that here, I have one of the machine. This This we can consider as a metasploitable machine. Okay. Now I have the another machine here. So I want to consider these as one of our attacker machine. Okay. So this will be a victim. This will be an attacker. So whenever the attack happens, the very first information that we need to know about it, what would be the major information, the attack may take place. So whenever the attackers are doing it, any type of attack, there is certain method are there. First, they gather the information. So let me just give you some information here, how this happens. The first thing comes information gathering. This is very important part. Whenever we see that any cyber attack happens, the major part comes information gathering about the target systems here. So whatever the target systems are there, they need to gather the information about that. So whatever they gather the information over that, based on that, they create the malware. That process we call as a weaponization. So weaponization is nothing but they creating a malicious code or they purchasing a code by going to the dark web or anything so that will consider they creating the malware. Let's imagine the situation. So they gather the information about the target or they are going to do the weaponization. Weaponization is creating the malware. Now once the malware is created, then there comes the process of delivery. Now they're going to deliver this that is very important because how the malware should be get delivered to the target systems. It can be through the phishing emails or it can be there are the several other methods are there the attackers may use in order to deliver that process can be happen. So delivery is very important how they're going to deliver that. So here comes they put the different type of method in order to deliver that. So they do the delivery of these malware. Okay. So once the malware is delivered, then they comes on the exploitation. Exploitations are nothing but where we can see that they're going to get an access to those systems here. So they're going to exploit any type of the vulnerabilities they have. So it comes as they are doing the installation. After that, we have something called as a post exploitation. Now, post exploitations are nothing but, in fact, where we can say that they're creating some alternate way to get an access if the main access is gone. Because they put all the efforts with the information gathering, they create the malware, they deliver that malware to the particular target system by phishing emails or sending the USB drive or any other way, the malware, once it get injected on the target system, they're going to do the exploitation. So means the malware is going to be get installed. Once it's done, then they create with the help of these exploitations they're going to create some more exploitations are nothing but they're creating different type of rat radio remote access systems or remote access trojans can be there or it can be some backdoors can be there in the system. If somebody comes and can stop the main access, they have an alternate way to get use of it. Then they comes on the command and control. So after that we can say that they do the command and like you know control for things whatever they have done here. So they're going to control all the systems, they can do whatever they're going to process it here. So here, let's say that if I talk about the information gathering, the attacker will gather the information. So how these attackers are going to gather these informations, what they're going to do it here. So let's imagine a situation over these. We have we have these as one of the target machine. Let's say that the IP address of this target machine can be considered as 192.168.3.23. Okay. So 192.168.3.23 can be considered as a target, for us, which we are going to do the attack. So for that, we need to gather the information here. So I'm going to use something called as the nmap, right? No, nmap is a network mapper where I'm going to gather the information about how I can attack on this system here. So here we have the particular IP address for this. So let's say that 192.168.3. What is that? Let me see that. 3.23. Okay, 3.23. So let's say that 3.23. Then I'm going to just do some scan here. Okay, this is called as a port scan. So we are doing some scanning here. We're going to see like the port, like how it will work and what information we can be having. Okay. So now, so here we can see that the attackers have discovered that there are the several open ports are there here. The first of all, we can see that. Now, what are these ports can be there? So we can see that like the FTP port is open. We have like SSH port, we have it, like telnet port, we have it. So there is lot of vulnerabilities are there. I may use this, but still I need some more information for this. So I'm going to do some more scan here. Okay, let's say that only the protocol is not enough me to attack, but also I need like we can see the port, state and service. I need the version also. So I can do the more deeper scan here. Okay, I can use the same system here. That is 192.168.3.23. Then I'm going to use some high versions, like even I need the informations about the version also. So I'm going to use this command in order to see these. Okay, let me see. Let me make it some post attack. Let's see. Okay, it means like I have done some mistake here. The IP address is not correct. Okay, it's 192.168.3.23, right? This is how it will be there. So let's see that. So 192.168.3.23. So if you see that, this is the IP address. So I put that time as 2, but it's 3.23. So let's see that is doing the scan and see what information happens.
So is the target able to detect this scan?
Sorry, yeah, we can detect this as scan also. I'll show you like how we can do this scan detail while been working on the SIM. Okay, if any port is getting installed, like anything is happens, like how we can get those information also we can do it.
Yes, yes.
You open two screen or one screen? There is one line made of this screen.
No, this is the one screen only, but over these, what I have done, I have made it two command from here. Okay, to give you the comparison. This is the only for the service and port, but here I'm doing some deeper scan where I can see even also the version. Okay.
I'm not able to understand how it's working. It's
Yeah.
better to explain how are you, making VMware on Kali Linux.
No, we
So
we will see. For that, we have the complete guide and based on the videos as I initially I showed you, right? The ethical hacking lab, you will be getting an access to the complete where you can do that. Okay. Our
Yeah.
focus is our complete
you
focus
now
is
we are
on.
still not able to understand, sir, how it's working, what are you doing. Just you are putting the command nmap and the IP address. I'm not able to understand what are these things are showing.
See, we are using something called as a network mapper. Is a tool which can like do the scan in horizontal and vertical way based on the
It is a
IP
tool or
address.
it is a command.
Sorry,
It is a tool or it is command. What is?
it's a tool which is built with the Kali Linux.
It's internally. Already
Yes, it will be
decided.
there internally. Even we can install that in the Windows machine as well. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't know you can do that, but thanks for the tip. I learned
Yeah.
something today.
Yeah. So even we can see that, right? This is all the different type of the tools which is there with the Kali Linux. If you can see that, right? There's a lot of tools are there which might may use for like information gathering, vulnerability analysis, like web applications analysis, like database assessments, password attacks, or it can be the wireless attacks, reverse engineering, exploitation tools, sniffing, post exploitations, and so on. Like there's other builder tools can be said here. So I'm using one of the tools as we can see that the network mapper here, and here we can see that with the if we compare with these two things, what is the difference is that if I said you to do the attack on telnet, so on telnet there might be a different versions are there, correct or not? So for these attacks, we require also to be have versions. What version should the attack happen, right? What does the vulnerabilities, where the vulnerabilities can be there on these versions here. So while gathering the information, it's not just enough with the port or the service, but also we need to know the version because that plays major role while we are doing the exploitations here. Okay. Now here, if you can see that we have the FTP, we have like also another FTP here. Like you can see that we have the Pro FTP version 1.3.1. We have another version of FTP that is VSFTPD 2.3.4 version, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to copy this and simply I'm going to just reach to the Google and just want to see that and show you how these exploitations may happen, right? What things has happened. So let me just show you this.
Yeah.
So here, let me put these versions and see the exploit for this. And here you can see that I have one backdoor access as in we can see that FSFTP 2.3.4, the backdoor command executed on this. Also, we can see some more information about like, how we can exploit and so on. So sometimes like, we need to gather the information while we are in. So here you can see that there is a piece of code. So if you see that this is the method which we are using in order to attack. And let me show you the backdoor here. Exploit DB. I have used the exploit DB. Not there here. Okay, backdoor here for the version 2.3.4. And if you can see that is the code where we can see that this code is written with the Python, using the Python here. And with the help of these code, the attack may take place here. Can you see this here, everyone? This is the piece of code, okay? So which is built it, and I'm going to use the same method in order to attack. So for that, I have like already this type of system which I'm going to use, like where we are doing attack on this. So first, let me go to the my console here. I'm going to use MSF console. Now, so what is our target IP address here, guys? 192.168.3.23. This is the target. And if you'll see that here, over these, what is an IP address for this system? Let me just give you an idea here. ifconfig ETS0, this is the port which I'm using. Now here, if you can see that, here we have 192.168.3.14. So this is the 14 and the target machines which have like as in IP address as 23. So our currently computer is this one, which is as 192.168.3.14. Now let's see that. So this is the MSFL. So let me use exploit. So it is there in this directory, the unit, and this is the STP. So here you can see that the backdoor which is there in my system for FSFTP 2.3.4, this is the backdoor command which is there. So I'm going to use these backdoor command. Use to. So options. So now here the remote host. The remote host is our target machines here. Okay. So set our host, that is 192.168.3.23, right? Let me just check. Yes, 3.23. So here, if I can see that, so here you can see that I have the target as 192.168.3, and this is the remote port which I'm going to use as it. It's a TCP based port, so it's going to perform with those ports only. And here also I have something called as a payload. So if you see that, okay, payloads, payload, okay, payload I have written. Sorry for that. Yeah. So here we can see that the payload which is there into the Unix and interact with that. This is a piece of code as you can see that the payload is there in my system. So overall, I'm going to use this backdoor in order to get an access the system to. So I'm going to just type as exploit. So because I have done everything is ready here. So I'm going to exploit this. So I'll just type as an exploit and get it developed. So when I click on these as an exploit, you can see that it's going to find out the source, and when it is asked us to enter the username and password, you can see that the backdoor services has been thrown here. So it's like the backdoor services has run, and through which it find out the port and it is given an access. Now if you see that, if config, if I type, can you see this here is the same IP address which we have it. So we got an access with those system by using the backdoor entry here. So 192.168.3.23. Are you able to see this here, everyone? Yes?
Yes. So
Okay.
right now you're actually are you in command control at this point?
Yes. It means like we are there into this system now here. If you can see
Yes.
that here, if you can see that here's some more information. Let's say that if I want to know the information about this server here, so we can see that there's a Linux Metasploitable 2.6.216 server. So the same thing if we can check here over this machine here. So if I type uname A, so you can see the same information here that it says that it's a Linux machine, the Metasploitable machine here. We can see that 2.6.4 14 version and so on, the same information here. What we are seeing that here, this is the same version, where it has got an access here. So I can
Yes.
see that what are the files are there if I type in command. So let's say that if I'm typing the command as a less, so I can see that we have the different type of directories here. We can see the home directories, we can see the root directories, we can see the desktop and so on, wherever we want, we can go ahead here. Now let's say that pwd print the working directory. So I'm there into the slash directory. Now I want to get into the root directory. So let's say that if I type the root here. Now if I type the pwd, you can see that I'm into the root directory. And if I can do the ls, the list here, you can see the desktops, I can see I can go into the desktops. I can go to the anywhere in the systems, right? I can be get an access to any of the media as well. I can go ahead, like whatever the information is. In fact, this is the vulnerability through which we have got an access to the system and can be able to see all the personal files and can copy or can paste those files wherever we want in our systems and so on, right? Possibilities are there for using the backdoor entries. We know that this is how the possible attack may happen. I believe you got a clear idea about this, right?
Nice. Yes.
Okay. So what is the backdoor here? Let's understand these in some more definition. If we can see that, now you will get a clear picture. The backdoor provide another way to get an access to the system, as we can see that. It's similar like how the backdoor enter into the house and provide another method. Like we have the backdoor in a house, like how we can get an alternate path to get enter into. So malware such as the Trojans or when installed on the system to bypass the normal authentication method. So sometimes what happens, the application developer may have created the backdoor into the application to get an access to the system, but that is not recommended. So this application developer might create a backdoor within an application's intent of maintenance purpose. Might be the intention to maintain those applications without any hassles or something like. But anyhow, if the application developer has created and the scan is done or certain vulnerabilities has got to know by the attackers, they're going to use that, right? So if the attacker discovers these backdoors, they can use it and access the application and that will be the big disaster. Correct or not? Got it, everybody?
Yes.
Yeah. So this is how it happens, right? The backdoor invade. Now, if I say the Trojan, what exactly is the Trojan here? Now, when we are talking about the Trojan considers that, right? Whenever we are seeing as a Trojan, it's also been kind of software that's used in a particular system. But what is the purpose in order to install any other malware from the target systems? So Trojans appear something as a useful, but it includes the malicious component, such as installing a backdoor to the user's systems, or maybe the Trojan delivered via the drive-by download, and they can also infect the system for rogerware or pirated software, games, or infected USB drives, or it can be any other you know, we have some other applications where the Windows may get activated, the KMS. You may have heard about that, or if you don't have the genuine license, so the people will do the pirated one, or they use some alternate software in order to crack those and get an access to the systems, right? So that is how the Trojans can be done. So Trojan, how it will get installed in a target system? Let's imagine one simple example. Imagine a situation that you have a movie in your laptop and you want to watch that movie and you're looking for a good video player and you thought it let's do these, watch this movie by using the VLC player. Let's imagine. So you went to the Google search and you just typed download VLC to watch the movie and you have downloaded that VLC player from some other link which might be not trustworthy link, or we don't have any idea. We have just used that link and downloaded that. Now, once we download that, what happens? We're going to install that, right? What we think that while installing, it's a useful for us. Correct or not? Do you agree with me?
Yes.
So while we are installing, it seems like something we are installing as a not malicious software, but it's the genuine licensed software. But it contains these malware code which is injected on the target system which we are installing, and through which the backdoor may get an access, or it join your computer to the botnet, and so on. Other malware can also be in fact injected on these machines. This is our possible ways where we can see that the backdoor can also be installed by using the Trojan. So this is how it works. Okay. So whenever we are seeing that it works something like that. Now let me talk something about the botnet. So what is the botnet? Botnet It's combined with the robots and network. So it includes the multiple computer that acts as a software robots or functions together in the network, such as the internet for the malicious purpose. So it means like if the botnet is also be considered that as a malicious software that a malicious link that can join the computer to the bad network here. So what is that? How it works? Like what things is happens? How the people join to these botnets here. So when we are seeing this, the main important thing is that we need to understand that the botnet, when I talk about it, it just works like in zombies. Many of the computers can be there. So bot will infect as many as devices as possible. So network is nothing but botnet is something similar, like as I said you that. So the bot can be considered as the automated things which can be as in malicious network if they are acting as in zombies, and the net is nothing but we call as a network. So here, what happens, how botnet works, when we can see that whatever the attackers are there, they spread the malware through the phishing emails or fake downloads or any sort of vulnerabilities might be there in the computer, right? So once they infected the devices, they connect to the server. We call it a C2C server, that is a command and control server. So the attacker sends all the command to the infected devices. So these devices act as together to perform certain tasks without the owner knowledge. So they execute different type of attack like DDoS attack, spending the spam emails or stealing the data, credentials, banking information, or they do the cryptocurrency mining. That is also possibilities are there. They spread some more malware also. So here it's very simple, when we see like how the people will join the botnet, that is joining or creating a botnet will consider about the user behavior. So they send the different type of systems, they send like different type of attack methods, phishing emails, links, with that the users will get attached to. So as we can see that the attempt to infect as many as computer as possible and control them through the one or more server running with the command and control software. So they infect the computer periodically and they check whether the command and control server is received the directions to the target computer and how it's going to work. So user will often unaware about these activities, and the most of the computers join these botnets through the malware infections. There are the in fact there are the several different type of attacks might may happen, right? It all depends, right? Let me give you one example here, how the links can come, how these attacks happen. So let me just give you one simple idea here, just to get about these attack parts. Okay. Hmm, Let me see that I have the system or not. Okay. So here I'm trying to show you something, right? How these attackers attack. Just to give you one of idea about like phishing, something like a phishing here. Okay. So it can be the nearby, or it can be the Google, or it can be the WhatsApp. It can be anything, right? Let's say that if I'll say that I'm going to make it this something as okay. Let me say that some of the method I'll use. Okay, I'll use the method like the WhatsApp group. Let's say that. So here I'm saying that something like chat with me, something like these, or I'll use some method here uh, to do more method way to attack. So, Okay, I'm putting some pics here. Okay, just how the attackers will do. Okay, I'm creating the server. Now I'll make another option that I'll share these to the public. Okay. Now, if you click on this link, what happens? Let's see that. Let me just do these as well. Okay. Now here I have created one link, guys. Okay, just to get you and understand. Okay. Now here, let's say that this is the link which I'm using. Okay. Now what I'll do is uh, I'll copy this link. Okay. Now let me share you this. Don't worry, it's not like I'm not taking any information. This is just to get you understand. Any one of you can click on this link, okay? Or if you want me, also I can click on this. Anyone, if you can click on this link, nothing will happen. Just to get you show how this attack happens, right? Let's see what it will do. It is anybody gonna click that link, or you want me to click?
Yeah, I clicked it. It says chat with me.
Okay, just say yes. Allow some information on that.
Okay.
Now, okay, fine. Just is that okay, right? If I can just analyze this, no problem, right? Armor, Mike,
Yes.
is that okay? If I can just see this information here. See,
No problem.
I'm just basic information. So, okay.
Yes.
Here we can
Yes,
see
sir.
that, like, the particular machines which is created, like, the public IP addresses, like the browser which is used, right? The locations, if you can see, this is North America, Florida. You there in the Florida, right?
Yes.
Yeah. You can see that the Florida is, this is like, some of the information which we got here. And if you see that, if I copy this link, where we can see something like, the information, like what type of information is that in this link? So in these links, we can see that, like, the information regards to the current locations, right? Where, what is that locations where we are currently, or if any users information we want to check it, right? Where we can see that here. So if I click on this, join the chat, and, like, there's some process if I done. So it looks something is very, like, the person who have no idea, these pages look very normal, correct? Yes or no?
Yes. Yeah.
It's kind of phishing, right? This is how the attackers may attack. Like, they may use these type of missions, right? When they are doing it. Now here, if you can see that one information I have it, and you see that how these can be a dangerous for, like, to the attackers, if we can see that. For us, it's normal, but, like, those are trying to attack on the particular system. For them, it's a problem here, right? Let's see that. So if I say that, if I click on this, here you can see that we get the exact information about this, right?
Yes.
Right. So this is what, where we can see that the information which we are getting it's quite dangerous for us, right? You can see that this is your street, somebody somewhere is here, right?
Yes, it's close. Close. You're very close.
Right. So what I want you to say that this is just a sample because I don't want to go at more in deep attack. Like, there are the several attacks out there where the users may given their access, their computer access, like, they can turn on the mic, they can turn on the, any sort of information that is required. So
Yes.
attack may happen to that level. This is how the possibilities are there when the attack takes place. So the attackers use these type of methods in order to attack and get an access to those systems. So the botnet is also maybe get spreaded to like these. And like, what happens with this, we can see that the user may could download a pirated software with the Trojans or with click to the malicious link as I showed you just now. So resulting that they download a malware and can join the system to a botnet. So that they do the command and control, they send the spams, they launch the DDoS attack, they download some additional softwares like, that can be the adware, spyware, keyloggers, and so on. There might be a different other like ways where the attackers may use in order to get an access to those missions. Okay, so this is what about like the today discussion, but sure I'm going to have some more detail about it. Some of the more malwares we'll discuss, and then we're going to set up the lab. But for to get notice you that next session, which we're going to have on the Monday. But while we having this session on Monday, I request everybody to join using your computers, like I mean like the laptops, because after half part of our sessions will be on the discussion, just the malware topic which I left some of it. Then we're going to set up the lab, the first lab. Okay,
Okay.
all right. So that's it for today's session, guys. Thank you very much. See you in the next session that is on Monday. Till then, take care. Bye, everybody.